it's very important to understand what to ask the clients in some of these prospect calls. Because you could just crack that call only on the basis of what you're asking the client. If you're asking the right questions itself, there is a very large possibility that the client will come back.
So typically today we have on continuation to the 100 Crore Club, Mr. Varun Krishna. Varun Krishna, hi Varun, welcome to the session. Varun has been associated with Wealthy since 4 years. Before this, he was with an investment advisor with a company called International Money Matters, where he was advising customers out there. Usse pehle he started with career in the fund accounting side of it with Northern Trust, where he spent almost like 5.5-6 years out there as well. Varun, over to you. We would love to know from you how this journey has been. That you created this 100 crore of AUM, right? And a very short span of almost close to 4 years or less than 4 years. I think you almost reached 100 crore year ago, right?
So I simply started with saying that, okay, let me just start with doing some program that gives me some solid foundation to start this practice. And which is where I went on to do my CFP, CWM and other programs that I've been doing. Because this was straight away bridging the trust factor for a lot of my clients. Right. I didn't have to basically go and pitch myself. If I just told them that I'm a CFP or a CWM, it's a straight away by to say that they know that, okay, this guy is at least qualified to look at my portfolio. And then comes the practice. So which is where my previous experience with Money Matters really helped, because there I was managing clients day in and day out with the sort of education qualifications that was lacking. So it was more of a testing ground for me for 5 years to say, what kind of impact can I bring onto clients with whatever that I've studied? So that was a great experience for me for 5 years, right? And then Wealthy happened. So I think it's important to sort of have a qualification. It's important to sort of have a practice ground. And then also it's very important to keep continuously reading and understanding of what's happening, because the products are ever evolving, right? Now, when I started getting into the practice, and especially when I wanted to build my own books with Wealthy, it's a couple of factors that played out for me, right? Now, eventually, when you build your practice, you also understand what is your sort of sweet spot with client profiles. Now, if you're able to understand as an advisor, you know what is your profile, and let's say as a client, if you're able to understand what is their behavioral profile, it is very, very easy to sort of build book much faster. So for me, I'll give you an example. Personally, I make decisions backed by a very, very rational thought. All right. Now, this is a very, very similar pattern that you will see with IT folks. Because you talk to anybody from the IT industry, they don't take irrational decisions. You can't go and tell them that you will make 100x returns. This guy's a beautiful advisor. This guy's a beautiful fund manager. That doesn't work with them, right? They want to see certain stats. They want to see certain number crunching, and they need some very, very strong rational basis. And that is something that I enjoyed as a person as well. My decision making largely was based on some of these factors. So a lot of the clients that I initially sort of spoke to, what worked for me was that we did some sort of a planning exercise. We brought some number crunching, gave them some stats. So that is the approach that has worked for me. You need, maybe to start with, you need 10 clients, right? And basically, if you're able to just make sure that 10 client is your clan, and then it's easier to grow from 10 to 100. But if you have that 10 client and there is a profile mismatch, for example, you're never going to grow, because those guys are not going to refer, because they're not firstly happy to start with. So find 10 clients that you can service of your sort of profiling, your sort of behavioral profiling or decision-making profiling. There's so many things that you can sort of attribute to. And I think from there, it's a lot more easier to sort of build, an AUM of, let's say, 100 crores or 1,000 crores or whatever it is. So I think keep preparing yourself. If you think that somebody is not trusting you, it means that's something that's something that I need to work on so that somebody is able to trust me. And in this business, for me, over the over time, what I realized is that trust is the biggest earning in the experience, right?
As a beginner, what basic questions should we know about and keep on updating? I think this is when he posted, probably when you said you need to keep on reading to upgrade, right? So that's when he had asked this question. So he's saying that I'm just starting off. Can you help me?
No, I think it's very important to. I'm glad somebody asked this question. It's very important to understand what to ask the clients in some of these prospect calls, because you could just crack that call only on the basis of what you're asking the client. If you're asking the right questions itself, there is a very large possibility that the client will convert, right? And like I said, you need to understand that the clients are coming to you with a very, very confused state. And it's not because they don't know anything. They already know a lot of things, but they're super confused, right? Because there's so much information out there today. And I guess when you ask these questions, I think it's important to sort of, help them bring the clarity through those questions.